Hey everyone, Coach Tanner here. In today's video, we're going to be going over the 6 best ultimates that I think are in the game. Now, this list isn't a perfect list. These are just based off of my opinions as well as my ranked experience and gameplay. With all that being said, let's hop right into it. Just one thing real quick. We are launching the GameLeap website for Overwatch 2 this month with step-by-step courses and strategies for every single hero. We'll make sure that it's way better and way more in-depth than anything out there on YouTube. Make sure you pre-order your sub right now at 50% off by clicking the link below. With that being said, let's hop right into our list. First up, we have Zarya. Her Graviton Surge is some of the only CC in the game, and it allows you to lock down multiple enemies and even force out enemy defensive ultimates while still gaining a lot of value. Now, while her ultimate is amazing, it isn't perfect. Whenever you use it, you need to be looking out for key enemy abilities that can counter your grab. For example, we have Diva Matrix, Zen Tranquility, and Lucio Beat, just to name a few. Whenever the enemies have these abilities, you're going to want to be saving your grab until you either kill them or force the abilities out. One of the best tips I have for Zarya is combo your ultimate with somebody else. Whether it be a Hanzo ultimate or even just an Ana nade, it can very easily change the outcome of your Graviton Surge. Another great tip I have for you is that you want to be as high charge as possible before you actually use your grab. Another thing is you really want to have at least one bubble up as well before you use it in case the enemies try and counter it with some big ultimate like Diva. And lastly, while you're high charge with your ultimate, you want to be in the ultimate, spamming your right clicks and your melees to try and finish the enemies off. Flying in next, we have Diva. Her ultimate is literally a free life, space creation, and most importantly, a huge bomb. Diva's ultimate is awesome because it gives you a ton of different ways to extract value out of it, even if you're not optimal. Most of the time, whenever you're playing Diva, your ultimates are going to be from getting demech'd. But it's really when you start to think about where and when you're using that ultimate that you can start making huge plays. What you want to start doing is watching for enemy cooldowns. These are going to be the most important trigger for your ultimate. Obviously, you're not going to get a kill on the Brig who has her shield still alive, or the Winston with his bubble up, or maybe even the Zarya with both of her bubbles. It's not optimal to use your ultimate if you know the enemies have obvious cooldowns to block it. So what you want to be doing is either watching closely for those cooldowns to be up, or using your ultimate in a way that forces all of their cooldowns and then capitalizing afterwards. There are some heroes that can actually be a great free kill for your Diva ultimate, so long as they're also using their ultimate. For example, we have Moira up first. With her ultimate locking her into an animation, not being able to use Fade, you could easily throw up your Diva ultimate as soon as Moira uses hers, and it's almost a guaranteed free kill so long as there's no obvious cover nearby. Another great ultimate you can use your bomb to counter is Zenyatta's Tranquility. A lot of the times, whenever the enemies are using Tranquility, they're going to run from behind cover as they're not afraid of dying. So if you throw your bomb in the air as soon as they all run out of cover to fight that fight, then you're going to guarantee yourself at least one kill. Next up on our list, we have Echo, our first DPS and also pretty much the best ultimate in the game. If you're able to copy anybody in the game and charge their ultimate 6.5 times faster, I mean, what's not to love? Even though you can copy everyone, it's not always the best idea to copy everyone. There are a few heroes that you really just want to copy over everybody else, and that is going to be the tanks. The reason you want to be copying tanks is their health increase. Whenever you copy someone, you are able to get up to 300 base HP, and that is incredible for a character like Echo, where you have free reign just running into the enemy team with 300 HP that they not only have to get through, but after you transform back, they have to get through your health bar as well. Now, if you're not going to transform into a tank, you really need a plan on who you're going to transform into otherwise. For example, if the enemy team has a Genji or maybe an Ana and you have a Genji as your second DPS, you could very easily transform into one of them and make a big play using your teammates' ultimates in combination. You should be using Echo's ultimate either whenever you are close to death or whenever you are engaging into a team fight. A lot of the times as Echo, you can very easily dive into the enemy's backline, and as soon as you're about to die, just transform into the enemy's tank and then continue wreaking havoc into the enemy backline. Our second DPS coming in on the list is Sojourn. She might be one of the more difficult heroes to play, but she can be one of the most rewarding if she's played correctly. Her ultimate is super strong. It can be insane if you can hit those precise shots on the back line of the enemies. Not only that, but if you do decide to shoot the tanks, her shots will still fly through them, so any close melee comp that is trying to rush you down, you can still get some big damage through the tanks. What you want to be focusing on is headshotting as much as possible during her ultimate, and this might seem intimidating at first, but the more you use that character and the more you understand how her railgun works, it becomes super easy. Since her ultimate only lasts for about 9 seconds, you can get around 7 railgun shots in before it ends. With that being said, you want to be using her ult towards the beginning of the fight. This will allow you to get early picks and finish the fight as fast as possible. You never want to be using Sojourn's ult after multiple of your teammates are dead, even though it can turn a fight. It's a super strong ultimate and you really want to guarantee a win with that ult. And since her ultimate is very intimidating to use and her railgun is very precise, I can give you one simple tip for that. What you want to do is try and let the enemies walk into your crosshairs, and by this I mean positioning your crosshair near an enemy and then using A and D to kind of walk yourself into the enemy, instead of trying to aim at them with your mouse, which can be much harder since it's a lot more precise. Coming up next on our list is Genji, everyone's favorite ninja. While his ultimate really hasn't changed from the past game, the new DPS passive that gives him 25% more movement speed after he makes a kill can make him into an absolute nightmare if you don't know how to deal with him. I don't know if you guys remember the old Nano Blade speed boost, but it's back and it's absolutely terrifying. Genji is a relatively squishy hero to play and you need to be very careful whenever the enemies know that you have your ultimate. If you find that the enemy Brigitte is camping the other support, it's pretty obvious that she knows you have Blade, or if you maybe see the Lucio flying way up on the skyline or hiding around a corner waiting to beat for you to Blade, then it's very obvious that they know you have Blade and you should either be waiting for these abilities to go out or highly focusing those targets so that you can force their abilities out before you use your Blade. Whenever you find yourself ulting as Genji, you really want support from some of your teammates. Whether it's a Diva Matrix, a Zarya bubble, or an Ana's Nano, maybe even just a Brig pack. You need some sort of help so that you're not just running in alone with your Blade, as everybody likes to turn around and focus the Genji as soon as they hear that noise. The things that are going to counter you mid-Blade are most of the CC in the game, like Briggs Bash, Ana Dart, and Zarya Grab, and just Mei in general. Things that slow you down or stop you from slicing and dicing are bad and should be avoided at literally all costs. Other things that might ruin your Blade are going to be things that either make characters invincible or heals them way too quickly for you to kill. Things like Transcendence or Lucio Beat. You need to make sure these are not available for the enemy team anytime that you are trying to Blade. And finally on our list we have Ana. This one should be a no-brainer, guys. Ana's ultimate has always been top tier and probably always will be. You can't really go wrong with damage reduction, damage increase, instant health. It really makes you feel like a god whenever you have her ult. Her ultimate is best used to engage fights. What you really want to be doing is use it on your Winston or maybe even your Genji who is blading or diving into the enemy backline and making sure that it is finding value. You never want to be using your ultimate too early while your team is not really fighting and forcing your teammate to go in with it. You want to use it whenever they're already halfway in. With a duration of only 8 seconds, every moment really counts, and if you use it a second before your monkey jumps, you're wasting 2 crucial seconds of the ultimate's duration he could have had if you used it mid-jump instead. Another really great tip is since it gives a burst of 250 HP and 50% damage reduction, it can be a really good way to turn around fights. If you have a tank that's in the middle of the enemy team right about to die, using your nano boost on that tank can instantly turn around a fight. Ana's ultimate is another one of those ultimates like Genji's and Sojourn's where you really don't want to be using it too late into the fight or else it's going to be wasted. What I mean is that if half of your team is already dead and more than half of the enemy team is alive, you never want to be trying to use it to miraculously save the fight. It's better to just die, reset, and then win the next fight and actually get progress out of your ultimate instead of just using it to use it, because it takes quite a while to charge up, especially if you're not that great at healing or hitting your shots. Now, even though all of these ultimates are really strong and debatably some of the best in the game, I know that I've missed a few, and I want you guys to tell me in the comments below some of the ultimates that you think are the best as well. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Just one thing real quick. We are launching the GameLeap website for Overwatch 2 this month, with step-by-step courses and strategies for every single hero. We'll make sure that it's way better and way more in-depth than anything out there on YouTube. Make sure you pre-order your sub right now at 50% off by clicking the link below.